girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Good morning. Welcome. Welcome back to the live stream. How we doing? How's everyone's day yesterday? Margin, Psych to Trade, Kavi, Chef, what's up, Chef, Ranger, Anna, DP, Pat, Hamster, Ghost Rider, Christine, Tashumbi, Larry, Ponzi, Robert Davenport, Bruce. ¿Qué pasa, Bruce? Morning, guys. Welcome back. What a day. What a day. Morning, everyone. Yeah, I would say definitely I would say, definitely if you had swing trades overnight, you definitely were able to find better opportunities, or you obviously milked it. The entry point yesterday was, I would say it was a little bit difficult, right? Because it sort of just sold off near open. The level that we found helpful for the entry point yesterday was 19,650. That was really the only spot where I felt like you had some kind of an entry. That was on the NASDAQ futures. We'll talk about that in a second. Besides that, I would say yes, I would agree. It was a little difficult to find that morning entry because there really was no bounce and fade. It was just sort of that morning dive. And so, yeah, one of those days where if you had swing trades, you just sort of let them run, which was great. A little bit more difficult to find those entries on the intraday, but there was some levels, man. There was. You just had to get a little aggressive on it, but I could understand why it would be tough because you never got really that bounce and fade that we love to look for. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it. Still got those NVIDIA puts? Yep, sure do. Still got 15 of them. So still holding some. The account's up to 87. It's wild. Wild, wild, wild. So still have 15 there. Still got 10 in E-Trade. So yeah, still got some. Looking for a little bit more. We'll see what happens today. We can't drop 3%. Morning. Welcome back, guys. Today GDP should be interesting. Does the GDP number help us with a little bit of relief? Does it continue the selling? That should be interesting. We are at the 100 SMA, the 100 daily SMA on the NASDAQ. So I think there's probably some reason for a little bit of a hold here, right? I think there's some reason for some relief here, but hey, you don't know, right? You never know. But we definitely are at some big levels on the NASDAQ, on the S&P after that drop. We are at that 19,045, 19,050 area on the NASDAQ futures, which is right at that 100 daily 100. So let's make sure we lock in on these levels today, right? Some big ones to watch today. Is NVIDIA worth buying for the long term? Guys, we need to stop being, we got to, at some point in our trading career, we need to zoom out and understand that it is normal for the market to move lower, okay? At some point in your trading career, you need to sit back and say to yourself, hey, is it normal for the market to go straight up forever? No, okay? Is it normal for the market to pull back aggressively? Yes. It's not the end of the world that the market is dropping. Okay, so is NVIDIA going to go out of business? No. NVIDIA is not going out of business. Are these drops typically opportunities to buy long-term shares if you actually have a long-term mindset? Yeah, probably, right? It's better than buying at the highs, right? So, it's up to you guys. If you can't manage a long-term portfolio because you just got shaky hands, then no, don't buy NVIDIA, right? I'm not gonna advise anyone to buy NVIDIA shares, and then be scared because it's dropped another 2%, right? Then you have no business even investing, right? If you buy NVIDIA shares here, and you sell them because it dropped to 97, you have no business investing, okay? This is your time horizon. If you're buying shares here, is not for another 5, 6, 7, 10 years. There's absolutely no reason to buy NVIDIA shares right now and then be scared if it drops to 97. If you're going to buy some shares here, then you're not even going to look at them for the next 5 years. That's how I buy. And so I'm not going to answer questions about whether you should buy shares because I know most people are not capable of just leaving a long-term portfolio alone. So yeah, if you bought shares in the beginning of the year, right? It's only 7 months ago. So yeah, I'm not going to get too much into that because I don't know what people's time horizons are. If your time horizon is long term, there's never a bad time to buy shares, in my opinion. I buy every Monday. So this coming Monday, I'll buy more shares. That's how I play the game. And I let it be. Take advantage of the downside, trade some downside, possibly use some of those proceeds from the downside trades to maybe invest in the long-term portfolio. It is not abnormal for the market to drop. All right. So let's get started. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and do it. 97 would be a great share entry. I agree, Carlos. That would be like a tradable share entry. If you're looking to actually trade it, I like that entry. All right. So today, economic calendar. Whoops, I just went to the outro. Economic calendar. Today's Thursday. Man, it's already Thursday. Crazy. Advanced GDP and unemployment claims. Big stuff. So GDP, unemployment claims, some big stuff here at 8:30. Let's see what happens at that 8:30 event. Let's see what the market does. Let's see how we react. Also at 8:30, we have the price index, the durable goods orders right here. We'll see what the whole reaction is in that area, right? 10:30 natural gas storage, and then G20 meetings day 1, G20 meetings day 2. I don't think that's too important. Tomorrow 8:30 PCE price index, personal income, personal spending, consumer sentiment, inflation expectations at 10 o'clock. So let's see what happens at 8:30 today. All right, that's really it. Let's see what happens at 8:30 today. Earnings calendar. Do we have anything important? We had Chipotle last night. Nothing really too important this morning. We had some, we had AbbVie. Well, how did AbbVie do? AbbVie pretty much flat. We had Royal Caribbean, which did okay, sort of flat. Didn't realize how well Royal Caribbean has been doing as a stock. I never even looked at it. American Airlines is AAL. They're slightly lower, $9 stock. Ouch. CMG, went up and came right. Well, CMG came right back down. Interesting. Ford down. IBM. Basically nothing that I care about at all. All right, so let's move forward. Let's get into the NASDAQ futures. Here we go. So we walked into this day yesterday, and we said if the NASDAQ's under 19,750, that is no bueno, right? And we said there's zero reason to look for upside if the NASDAQ is under 19,750. 19,750 lows into the most clear rejection in the pre-market. Could not have been more clear there yesterday in the pre-market for us. You just had to trust the levels. Previous lows, previous lows, previous lows into very clear rejections all morning in the pre-market. We were here all pre-market for it. Next, we talked about that Friday low, 19,650, right? We had that Friday low at 19,650, and we said if we fail that 50 SMA and we get stuck under that Friday low, the downside is going to come in aggressively, right? And if you look at yesterday's open, it was just a perfect failure at 19,750 right there. I mean, just perfect. Right off the open, 19,650, sorry. Perfect rejection right under that Friday low. This was your Friday low right here. Friday low, right? And so all we did yesterday morning was we broke under that Friday low. We got stuck below it, and we just pretty much instantly failed. Next level, 19,525, right? Let's go to that 2-minute chart real quick. Or actually, let's go to the hourly again. 19,525 was our next level. 19,525, if we zoom out, was right here. Let me go ahead and show you. Let me make this smaller. 1 second. Can we please work today, TOS? Thank you. 19,525 was that little shelf we talked about. That was sort of interesting, right? Nothing that was too big, but it was a little shelf that we were watching. That was that 19,525. And then the next level was our 19,380. Now, if we go into the short-term time frames, and I did this with the group yesterday, there was absolutely signs at these levels on the intraday that you could have, sort of watched. So 19,525 was one of our levels. Look at this right here. Look at this on the intraday. 19,525, 19,525. Previous holds into intraday rejections. Very clean, right? That's very nice right there. 19,525, one of our key levels. Pretty much a perfect break and retest on the intraday. Slid to the next level. Our next level was 19,380. This was 19,525. Our next level was 19,380. You can see right here. We tried to hold it. We failed below it. And we turned it into a rejection, a rejection, a rejection. Previous demand, right? Previous hold level, turning into intraday failures. Very nice. 19,380. Now, what's the next level? 19,300. We can see that right here on the intraday today. Very clear, 19,300. Very clear rejection spots. Rejection, 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 rejection. So today, what are we looking for? Let's look for that pop. Let's look for that pop in the 300. Let's look for that pop in the 380, right? That's really what I want. I don't want to just short into a hole here. I would love to get some pops. So if we go to the 15-minute chart here, I would say let's look for a pop into 19,300. Let's look for a pop into 19,380. If we get over 19,380 and we get over 19,300, I would expect us to maybe trade back into that 525. That's very possible as well. If we get over that 380, if we get over that 300, I would say the NASDAQ could be trying to retest maybe that 525. So very clear level so far today. We can clearly see the rejections all in the after hours here at 300. So that's absolutely a level to watch. We see those rejections that came in yesterday at 380. That's absolutely a level to watch. Let's just simply wait to see if we can get that bounce and fade today. That's really what you want to look for. The reason I don't like shorting into a hole today is because it is very clear that the NASDAQ is at the 100 SMA. It's very clear, right? If we sort of take all these charts off our let's take all these levels off our chart, and we can see right here, let me take everything off, let's just clean this up. We can see right here, right? That NASDAQ is sitting right at that 100 SMA. So I'm not too much of a fan, right? I'm not a fan of shorting right into that hole. There's also definitely some support around that 19,000 level. It's right up in here around that 19,000, right? So you're sitting right at that 19,000, and you're sitting right at that daily 100 SMA. I think there is a reason to not be aggressively short into that level, right? We can very clearly see so far this morning, we're seeing sort of that support just sort of stepping up here around that 19,000 and that 100 SMA. So I'm just not interested in shorting into this hole and then seeing this happen, right? I don't want to get stuck in that. It's just not something I want to get involved in. You have a quarterly membership and wallets to access, go to wap.com and then join the Discord. Go to wap.com, sign into your account, and you can go ahead and gain access there. 19,100 SMA. Be careful shorting into this hole today. I'm not a big fan of it. I would really prefer a pop and fade. That's really where you want to start trying to find your short entries. Let's look for that 19,300. Let's look for that 19,380. Let's look for that 19,525. Let's see if we can get some relief on this market and then look to see if it fades again. Yeah, that's really it for the NASDAQ. If we do break that 100 SMA and we do break that 19,000 level, then I would say it's coming back to here, right? These major highs at 18,850, 18,860, right there. 18,860, 18,850. That would be these previous highs right here. Previous high, previous high, previous highs, previous lows, previous lows, previous lows. 18,860 would be that next level. So 18,860, big demand below, 19,000 and that 100 SMA. I would prefer a bounce before trying to short. Let's look for that 19.3. Let's look for that 19.380. Let's look for that 19.525. QQQ, huge spot here, right? Absolutely monstrous spot here on the QQQ. That is right here at 461.50. 461.50 is a previous high, and major previous lows right here. 461.50, 461.50, 461.50. That is where we are attempting to hold this morning, right? You can see right here, if we zoom in on the 5-minute chart, look at the holds that are attempting to come in at this 461.50. So that is going to be very important. I might move this down to 461 if I was to be honest with you. Yeah, I think I'm going to move it down to 461. So 461 right here, 461, 461. That's got to hold, guys. That's got to hold. If we break under 461 here, that could be a little bit dangerous. Under 461 on the QQQ. No, I don't want to remove it. I want to extend it to left. Yeah, 461 right here. If we break under that 461, if we zoom in over here on that 4-hour chart, look at this right here, right? Look at this little area right here. 461, 461, right? If we break below this, guys, today, this could get a little bit more ugly down towards that 450. It's very possible, right? So 461, I think, is a must hold here. If we break that, we probably navigate towards this 100 SMA at 454, and then we could navigate down to that 450. So 461, big QQQ level today. Very clear shelf, right? You can see that shelf low right here and that previous shelf high, right? Look at how clear that is right there. That has to hold. If we get pops to the upside, very clear levels to look for rejections today. First one is this 465 to 466. You can see it right here. This zone right here looks very heavy. If we get a pop, let's look for a fade there, right? We can see fades everywhere at 466, 465. So if we do get that pop, let's look for that fade right here. That would be a great spot. If we get above that, then we're looking right here, 468.50. Why 468.50? Let me show you right now. 468.50. If I go out to the 4-hour chart, you can see right here. 468.50 was that little shelf area that we were watching on the NASDAQ as well, right? It was right here, this little shelf area right here. It's not a big level, but it could be a reactionary, right? You can see this little shelf area right there. That's 468.50. That could be a little fade spot. The best, right? And I mean the best. Let me go ahead and take this off. The best thing for us to see for like a next major short entry, right? If we clean this up and we look at just major levels, the best thing to happen here, if we want to see like the next sexy short, would be this right here. Big bounce, back to these lows, and fade this level, okay? This is really your best short entry right there, okay? So if we start to see some strength today, and this thing starts to actually move higher, right? And we're saying, all right, I think we've actually found some kind of a short-term low. Let this thing go to 474. Let it move higher, and then start to lock in on this short, right? On this short. That's the spot, right? That's the real spot right there. That's the major. That's like what happened here, right? You got to drop. You got to retest of the major previous level. Bam, right? Right there. Bam. Next, drop, retest of the major previous lows. Bam, short, right? These are your shorts. These are your good shorts. These are the ones that are confident. These are the ones that I take large size on, right? This is why I got aggressive on this one. But this is the same one right here, 474, 473.80. That's the confident short. If you're going to keep shorting a downside move, and you're going to keep chasing this, then you better start, lowering your size as it moves lower, right? Bigger size, lower size, smaller size, smaller size, smaller size, and then it bounces on you. Okay, oh well, I took small size. I got it wrong this time. It's bouncing more. Now, if this goes back here, then you're resetting. Big size, smaller size, smaller size, smaller size, smaller size. Oh, it bounced on me again, but I took smaller size. I'm not going to take huge size shorting into a hole, right? So that's where my mindset's at today, right? If I'm going to try to short again today and I see some maybe a little bit of a setup that I like for a short entry, not going to be taking monster size after a 3% red day on the NASDAQ because there's definitely still a likelihood of one of those, bam, right? Fuck you. Fuck you, Bears, right? One of those type moves. I'm not interested in getting stuck in one of those, right? So there's definitely one of those moves looming after a major downside, and I would continue to decrease your size if you continue to try to short this market until you get that nice bounce, and then you can start to look for that fade. So for now, I'm watching 465, 466. I'm watching that 468.50, and the real short steps in around this 474. Okay? David, appreciate that, brother. David Mastrino, Paisan, Italiano. I know that's Italian last name. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the $20 donation. So 461, that's a must hold today. If we break that, we could get that slip, and you could probably look for some more slippage on the QQQ, right? But I would say just be careful, right? Don't go in balls deep here. Make sure you're aware that there could be some, overnight gaps or some kind of big moves. I'm going to use whatever word I want. Thank you very much. Okay, this is my live stream, and I'm going to talk how I want to talk. Don't tell me how to talk. Okay, thank you. S&P 500. Let's continue. Here we go. 4-hour chart. 54.50, 54.40. Big spot here. Very big spot. Look at these previous highs. This is going to be a big spot right here. If we break below that, right? If we break below that at 54.40, 54.50, we're going to move down into the 5400, right? 5400 and that daily 100 SMA. If we do break below this level here, if we do break below that 50, that 40, then we're going to move down into that 5400. All right, so that's definitely a level to watch here today, 5450 to 5440. Definitely some demand in that area. If we do break below that, then we're going to that 5400, okay? Now, what was the perfect short yesterday? What was the absolutely sexual short It was right under 55.08. I mean, it was just absolute perfection. And this was a short intraday that had plenty of time to react to. Absolutely plenty of time to react to this one, right? Look at this right here, guys. 55.08, 55.09, 55.10, whatever you want to call it, right? It's all in this little area here. You can very, 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 very clearly see the rejections under this level, right? There's no doubt. Rejection, 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 rejection. This is almost for an hour, 2 hours, right? 2 hours that we failed under this level. Why is that so important? Well, if you were paying attention to the longer term levels and you have your levels set and you understand sort of that bigger picture, you should know exactly how important that was, right? Look at how clear this major previous low was. 55.09, 55.10. We talked about this. Look how major that low was. Look how major that high was. That is weeks of lows. Weeks, right? It's not just one day. This is like 2 weeks of lows at 55.09, 55.10. Previous highs at this level as well. And if we go into the 5-minute chart, look at how perfectly it reacted off that level. Absolutely perfect. Love to see it. That was awesome, right? That's what it's all about, right? That's the longer term levels reacting on the intraday. This is exactly what you're looking for on an intraday basis. That is beautiful, beautiful stuff. So that's the level I'm going to look for a bounce and fade into, guys. This would be the absolute perfect bounce and fade level. No sound, guys. Come on, let's get it together today, okay? You think I'm on here on the live stream with no sound? So 55.09, you guys can see right here, 55.09. This would be the perfect bounce and fade level to look for. I would absolutely love that. So let's look for that today. What else would that line up with? That would line up perfectly with the daily 50 SMA, right? The daily 50 SMA, the 55.10, 55.09, that would be a beautiful bounce and fade, right? So watch that today. I think that would be a great trade. I think that would make a lot of sense, right? For that long, for the market to long off that 54.50, right? I think it would make a lot of sense for that ES to bounce off this level and then look for that sort of fake bounce into the fade spot and then look for that continuation. Would love that. That would be the best case scenario today, right? That's best case scenario. We'll see if we get it. If we don't and we just drop under 54.40, we're going to have to chase this thing underneath towards that 5400. All right? That's the ES. That's what I would be looking for today. Let me go out to that 4-hour chart again. 4-hour chart. Can we get another F-bomb for a sound check? Yeah. I mean, that's just the cleanest thing, right? Even on this 4-hour chart, you can see just how beautiful that trade setup would be, right? 4-hour chart, you can see, let's be careful in shorts into the 54.40, 54.50. Let's maybe look for those shorts in the 5400. But man, would I love a little bounce and fade at these previous lows right here, right? Wouldn't that just be a really nice setup? That's what I would look for. If it gets above 55.09, right, if we do reclaim this area, if we do get a reclaim above this area, we definitely could fight back, right? If we do reclaim above 55.09, 55.10, you could fight back, right? You could fight back into that 55.70. It's very possible. And that would be a normal retracement, guys, right? Downside, retracement. Downside, retracement, right? There's going to be retracements, guys. We're not going straight down. We're not going straight down forever. So be aware of the retracements, right? When you get extended, there's retracement days. So we are probably asking for a retracement day somewhere. Now, the question is, guys, do you really care to long a retracement day, right? Do you really need to be long in this day and then maybe get a little bit too aggressive, too hopeful, and then get stuck in this, right? If you're going to long this market right now, guys, you are a scalping trader. There is no such thing as holding longs overnight right now. At least right now. There is really no reason to try to long anything overnight. The last time you tried to long something overnight, you woke up to the market down 200 points, right? So look for the retracements, but right now I would look for retracements to become new short opportunities, right? If it's a retracement, I would say that's a new short opportunity. Retracement, new short opportunity. Not until you start really multi-day holds, right, really pushing back higher, would I start to consider, thinking that a bounce is a legit bounce. At this point in the market, in this very moment, I would say every retracement could be a new short. So let's see, 55.10, 55.70. I would look for those two spots. Those could be two new retracement spots to look for that next opportunity. So let's just watch these levels. SPY, big spot on SPY. Why the hell is this 536 level in the middle of nowhere? It shouldn't be there. It should be right there. There we go. 536. There we go. 532.50. Put that on there. All right. All right. So, what was that major low? That was 543. 543. We can see right here. I'm going to delete that for a second. 543, right? This was this low right here, 543. This was this previous high, 543. This was a major spot on the market, on the SPY at 543. Now, if we go to the 5-minute chart, look at 543. Beautiful, right? Look at how we're rejecting that 543 right now. That is very telling, okay? If we can knock it back over 543 on the SPY, then that is very weak, right? Look at this hourly chart. 543 lows, 543 lows, 543 lows, 543 lows. Look at what's happening on the SPY right now. Look at how we're turning 543 into a rejection point. We're turning previous major lows into rejection points. Very, very important. 543. Make sure you pay attention to that level today. If we get above 543, that's where I think the SPY can retrace, okay? If we get above 543 and we turn it into support, that's where I think you can retrace possibly towards that 548, okay? So 543 is that line in the sand for me today. Under 539, which is this support right here, right, we can move into that 536. Well, let's go ahead and look at what the economic data does here, and then we'll jump back into the SPY. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this ES. Let's take a quick peek at what happens here. So GDP and unemployment claims. So whole bunch of nothing right now. $539. Durable goods, negative 6.6 versus 0.3. Damn. GDP. Okay, so GDP positive. Jobless claims pretty much flat. GDP quarter over quarter, 2.8 versus 2%. Big miss on durable goods orders. Big. Not sure how that reacts, but yeah, that's interesting. Whole lot of nothing, guys. Whole lot of nothing. So, yeah, SPY. Let's get back into the SPY analysis here. 539. If we break under 539, then we are likely to, move down through this gap, possibly towards that 536, 537. We go to that. Let me go to that hourly chart. Let me get some more time on this chart here. So if we do break under that 539, then I would say we trade right here into that 536, possibly down into that 532.50. 539 is your big spot today, okay? That's your big spot. If you break 539, you see the weakness come in again. 539 on the SPY. Under that, I think you see 536. So about a 3-point move below that. Right here. 536, 539. If you move under 539, I think you see that 536. If you do bounce off 539 today, I would watch that bounce into 543 right here. 543 is right here. 543, major previous lows, rejections in the pre-market, right? Very clear, right there. Okay? 543, 539. That's your range today. You get a reclaim over 543, you probably move higher into that 548. You get a break under 539, you probably move lower into that 536. Okay, very nice. IWM. IWM, big breakdown under 219 here. So this is important. Pay attention to this 219 today. This was the 219 low that caused upside on Tuesday. This is now a 219 level that's causing rejections. Okay, this is very, very important to pay attention to. 219, previous major hold level. Previous rejection into support, right? Look at this right here. We had support. Bam. Broke back under it. Rejections. Got back above it. Support. Broke back below it. Rejections. All right. So what are we going to do today? I would look for that 219 rejection, maybe into that 216, maybe into that 215. If we get back over, all right, if we get back over 219, that could be your long towards 222 again. But either way, 219 is your spot to watch on the IWM today. All right, let's get into some stocks. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have to run an ad. We got 1,600 people here, 700 likes. No bueno. All right. Tesla. Tesla has made it back to our 205 demand. 205, 208. It's made it back. This was our big spot. This is where the breakout really started, guys. When we got over this level back in first week of July, this is where that breakout really started. Excuse me. Over that 205, 208 level, over that 200 SMA, that is where the Tesla move really began. Now, we are right back to it, right? We are right back to it. And I would expect Tesla to really fight here. let me just put it this way. I have zero interest in shorting Tesla into this level. I think that's craziness, right? To try to short Tesla after the drop you've just seen into the 200, into the 50, into 205 demand, I don't see that being a viable trade here. So what my assumption is Tesla probably does a total shit show move today, just sort of sitting right above this level, possibly on a little bounce back into 222, maybe back into 230. But if we get that, I would look for the fades, right? I'd look for the fades here. I'd look for the fades here. Those would be my fade spots today. If we get a bounce into 222, I'll look to see if weakness can come in. If we get over 222, I'll look to see if we can bounce into that 230. That would be my two fade spots. Those are very clear fade spots, but there is no reason for me to be shorting into this 205, 208. That's the 200 SMA. That's the 50 SMA. I don't think that's somewhere you want to get aggressive on the downside into. Let this thing sort of bounce around. Let it hold that level, and then look to see if you can get some fades at the 222, 230. Okay? NVIDIA. 115.50, man. This is so clear today. This is going to be huge. This could be monstrous here. 4-hour chart, right? 4-hour chart. Man, if we stay under this 115.50, this is dangerous. We've been talking about this on the live stream every single day. If you come to this live stream, we've talked about NVIDIA every day. We've talked about our trade at 125, which made me a lot of money. We've talked about what if it breaks under 115, 115.50, it could get really weak into that 106.50, into that 97. It's starting to look like you're heading this way, right? So today, I am 100% going to be watching if we stay under this 115.50 level. We can see right here, previous support into rejections. If we stay under this level, I am looking for downside, okay? Yeah, I was going to go ahead and do this on the live stream. I think this is a great time to do it. So here we go. I'm just going to log into my my broker here. Run a statement for you. Go ahead and screen record it. Send it to everyone that thinks that I don't trade. I don't know if anyone's ever done this live. I don't see anyone doing it. So here we go. Here's my interactive brokers. This is my full account. Here's my trading platform, and you can see what I'm still holding. And here we can go to realize summary. We can go to custom range date. We can go from today, first of the month to the end of the month, which was yesterday. We can view my statement for the month. We can see right here, July 1st to July 24th. we can go to the unrealized and realized summary, and we can see over here on the right side that we are up $51,000 for the month. 51,000 unrealized, 43,000 realized. That's because I still have some unrealized profits on the month. So there you go. About 51,000 for the month. Did it all live here on YouTube. Don't know how else to show you, unless you come to my house, fly out to my house, and you can do it here on the computer with me. So that's that. Yeah. Now, NVIDIA, 115.50. That's the level to watch today. If we can see rejections there, let's look to see if we can fail that level. All right. If we get back above it, let's see if we hold above that level. Right. If we do hold above that level, then I would say NVIDIA can battle back. Right. I would get out of every short if you see NVIDIA back over 115.50. That would be a very potential, right, sort of squeeze back to the upside. If you get back above 115.50, if you get back above these highs, if you get back above these lows, then I would be careful of NVIDIA sort of squeezing back to the upside, okay? So be careful of that. Watch that 115.50. Be careful of that reclaiming. If it does, you probably trade back in the 120, all right? So big eyes on 115.50 today on NVIDIA. If you see that thing fail, guys, and it gets ugly out there today, this could really break down towards 106.50. I really think you could. So that is something to watch today. What's even more important or even bigger for me to watch today, in my opinion, actually it's starting to hold right now, so I'm not as interested now. Yeah, it might be a little bit difficult. MU. I mean, 114 MU, guys. One of the sickest rejection plays I've seen in quite some time. This was insane yesterday. MU, we talked yesterday in the live stream about a retest of 114, right, for that rejection play. 114, 114, 114. Yesterday, we basically just pushed right into 114 and got absolutely smacked right off 114. I mean, I think it was exactly 114. I don't even think there was a cent involved. 114.04. So we were 4 cents away from the exact high a day. Right there, 114, bam. That was so sick. Just an awesome, awesome trade. Previous major lows into a huge rejection. Awesome trade on MU. Fading all day off that level. Now, the reason I'm so interested in MU is because there is a big gap. Big gap. Big money gap. BMG underneath 105.72. 105.72. Under that level, there is a BMG. Big. It's not right. Big money gap under 105.72 into 97.50. However, you're starting to hold it, right? And this could get very tricky here, right? This could get very tricky here. So let's see what happens around this 105.72. That's going to be key. I would assume this tries to bounce somewhere here today, especially if that SPY and that, that market holds up today. So I'd probably be watching like this 110 area. Look to see if we can get a little maybe pop and fade there. But we need it to be under 105.70 for me to see something play out. Because right now, yeah, you're seeing that NASDAQ, you're seeing that ES hold that 54.50. You're seeing that NASDAQ hold that 100 SMA. So I'm not too much on the short side. I'm not really on the short side here yet today, right? I don't want to be shorting into these holes. I'm not interested in doing that. AMD, another one with an incredible break and retest of a channel low. Look at this 30-minute chart on AMD yesterday. You guys can see right here. Here's your major low. Here's your major lows. Here's your major low. Here's your major low, and turning into a perfect failure level. Look at how perfect that is on AMD. You have the 200 SMA that was trying to hold for almost 4 to 5 trading days, and yesterday you failed below it, you bounced back into it, and you got absolutely smacked off that daily 200 and the previous lows. That's a perfect break and retest rejection. That's awesome stuff. So all day sell right off that 153. We're under 145, which is a big 4-hour level. If we go to this 4-hour chart, we do have a big 145 level, which is right here, 145, 145. If we hold below 145, I think you go to 140, right here. You can see this. If you hold below this low yesterday at 145, I think you go to 140, right? But if you get back above 145, then I'd probably let AMD fade to the upside, right? If these stocks start reclaiming some of these lows, I think you're in for a nice little ghost zombie fade for the day. I really want to be careful of that today. The zombie fade, the sort of shitty relief rally that sort of just goes up all day with no volume, and you just say, what the hell is going on, right? This is pointless. That's what I'm worried about today. So if you get back over this 145 on AMD, let that thing grind into nothing. If MU sort of holds this 105.72, just let it grind and don't touch it. If NVIDIA gets back over 115.50, probably just does this shitty grind all day, right? And then maybe gives you another opportunity. So I want to see levels react today. If we reclaim these levels, I'm just going to leave the market alone, guys. I'm not interested in longing today at all. I have no interest. If the market wants to go up today, let it go up. That's in my mind, right? Let it go up, and then tomorrow, let's see if it can prove itself to hold up. I'm not going to get stuck trying to long in a market that's just sort of fading higher into some supply levels and then get stuck in that nasty rejection play. So that's just my mindset. I don't think it's necessary to be a part of the shitty bounce that may occur at some point here. I just don't think it's worth it. I think if any upside comes in, it's going to be found. There's going to be a lot of sellers that are going to be interested in shorting it back lower, and I don't really want to be the liquidity that they're asking for to short this market again, right? I'm not going to be interested in giving them the liquidity by longing a shitty bounce. So I'm just going to let it be if that's what it wants to do. Let's go to Meta. Meta, what an awesome 495, 494 fade. Again, a beautiful trade for us in the chat. I mean, congrats on this one, guys. Previous lows, break, retest, rejection, right at that 495. What a beautiful trade that was. Now, you can see right here on the 4-hour chart, previous lows into a perfect high. That's called a break and retest. That's what we love to trade. 460 is your next level, right? 460 right here, 460, 460, 460. Let's keep an eye on that level. I think Meta could have a shitty bounce off that level today, right? I would be careful shorting into 460. That's definitely a potential little grinder day off 460. If you fail back under 460, then I would look for the short into 450, okay? Under 460, I think you have some aggression down to 450. Under 450, it gets really ugly. But I'd be cautious of 460 just sort of holding and grinding today. Possibly back into like this 480 spot, right here. Possibly 460 to 480. Maybe you can look for that retest rejection at 480, right, for a lower high right here at 480, very possible. But I would not be shorting into 460 lows, okay? Let's go into ARM because this is very interesting. I mean, again, a perfect break and retest. It's everywhere, right? Previous highs, previous lows, 172. We talked about that break and retest rejection. That's exactly what ARM did. Perfect daily 20 SMA rejection on ARM. What a beautiful fade off this level yesterday. Bam. Right through that uptrend. Right off that 172 supply. What a beautiful trade that was. You are now at a huge spot on ARM. I mean, probably one of the biggest spots on ARM for its short-term health, right? I'm a little concerned about what ARM does here if it starts to break under 150. Be careful here. ARM 150, 150, 150, 50 SMA 150. If you break under 150, I would be slightly concerned of what this does in the short term. It could trade maybe back down into that 142, 143 area and possibly hold, right? Right in this, let me go ahead and put this at 150, 1 second. So 150, right? And if it does break under 150, you could probably trade down into like this 143, right in here, 142, 143 area, which could hold, right in there. But I would feel like this would really crush a lot of momentum for for ARM under 150. If you go to the daily chart, it's quite a beautiful sight in terms of a head and shoulder, right? Look at how just beautiful that sort of shoulder right here, head, and right shoulder is forming. That is quite pretty. So if you break this 150, I think that's a break of a neckline, and I think this could really start to see some weakness. This was straight up. This could go sort of down, guys. I'd be watching this. Keep an eye on that 150, okay? Microsoft was the same exact trade as Microsoft is the same exact trade as Meta, was the same exact trade as Nvidia, was the same exact trade as ARM. This is the same thing over and over again. It's a break of previous lows, come back up into it and reject, right? Previous lows on Microsoft causing upside. We break under it. We come back into it. We reject. We cause downside. Beautiful. 446. Street side works. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the 99-cent donation. Thank you, brother. Hopefully the stream has helped you. 446, beautiful rejection on Microsoft. I don't really like Microsoft today, to be honest. This looks like another one of those shitty grinds higher off the daily 100, right? Daily 100, daily 100, 428. You probably just see this thing sort of fade today. Unless you break under 428 in that daily 100, if you get that break below, then you might see that downside continuation towards that 419. But I would be very cautious of shorting into that 428 and that daily 100 SMA. You can very clearly see that it's trying to hold on this morning. Be careful of shorting into this hole. Okay. Let's go to Apple real quick. Apple, nice pullback down into that 215.50. You guys can see right here, 215.50, 215.50, 215.50. Nice pullback, nice hold so far. We did break under 220, which is very important. So be careful of Apple popping and fading at 220 today. Okay? Be careful of 220. That could be a rejection spot. If Apple gets over 220, then I think it could reclaim and find some strength. But it needs to get over 220. 215.50 holding. Be careful of 220. Okay? Let's go to, we'll go to Dell. I've been interested actually to see what Dell has been doing because it's, wow, yeah, Dell's getting smacked, huh? I mean, I feel like we should have known that Dell is Dell, right? Why is Dell going up so much? If anyone faded Dell, congrats. You're smart. You're actually thinking. Like, sometimes you just got to think logically. Like, if the market's going straight up and Dell's going with it, sure, that's great, right? Let that thing go. But when there's a sign of weakness, these stocks that are going up for just sympathy are going to get smacked. And that's what you're starting to see, right? Dell was going up because of a sympathy AI, trade that was just sort of popping higher. And I would be paying attention to those names that were just sort of fading higher with the overall sector and just the shitty stocks that, I mean, Dell is just, I don't know. I don't see Dell anywhere. I don't know why Dell was up at $185 per share. I mean, I don't see Dell anywhere. What is Dell doing? I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think I'm right in the regard of if there's some stocks that have been going higher with the sector trade, then start to look for the ones that might sort of weaken. I think Dell is one of them. So 113.70, I would be watching that. 113.70. Keep an eye on that low. That's huge right there, actually. 113.70, that's a big low, right? Right there. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. 113.70. It's up a lot, huh? Under that, you sort of have a gap. What's this low? 105? Yeah, you do have this earnings gap up you could watch right here. That's actually the earnings gap. What's the low here? Yeah, 113.90, 114 area. Might be 114. Yeah, you sort of got a gap under that 114, so that could be something to watch here under 114. SMCI is definitely one to watch today. SMCI under 690. And this is the last thing we're going to look at today, guys. SMCI under 690. That is a terrifying thought there. Look at this daily chart, okay? SMCI under 690 comes into a vertical upside move. I would be very aware of what SMCI does here at 690 and that daily 200 SMA. Daily 200 SMA is 645. If you break under 690, you likely trade to that 645. And if you don't hold the 200 SMA, you are trading in vertical upside. All right. Remember this weekly chart? Yeah, this has to hold. 690 is a must hold. The weekly low is 671. So you could put a level at 671 and you can name it major weekly low. Something along those lines, right? You can go like this. You can say major weekly low, right? At that 671. If you break under that 671, there's nothing there, right? It's gone. There's nothing under that. Under that 671, the only thing that could hold this up is the 200 SMA. Under that, it's straight up. So I'd be watching SMCI for sure. All right. That's all I got, guys. CrowdStrike 260, that's your level to watch. It continues to be the same level, 260 on CrowdStrike. Keep an eye on that level. Nice previous lows there. Actually broke below it today. Look at that. Yeah, watch 260 on CrowdStrike. All right, guys. That's all I got. Press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We are here every single day, including tomorrow. So make sure to come hang out tomorrow in the live stream before the market opens, end of a week. Make sure to close the week strong, guys. Have a good day today. Be careful of those bounces, okay? Please be careful of sort of that bounce back. Once again, I'll reiterate, you are holding the daily 100. There really is no reason to short into this daily 100 SMA on the NASDAQ without some type of bounce and fade move. Please be careful of shorting into the daily 100 SMA on the NASDAQ futures. I think that is a foolish thing to do today after such major downside. Please be aware of that level below. All right, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.